Hi again, welcome back. It's Thursday. We're almost through that spring break week, but I know we have a few more days we can really enjoy before we get back to seeing each other again. I decided I was going to do something for the older kids today, 3rd and 4th grade, but it doesn't mean that you can't get anything out of it if you're in kindergarten, 1st or 2nd. So I'm going to read you guys the first 3 pages of The Maze of Bones. The Maze of Bones is book number 1 in Rick Riordan's The 39 Clues series. And I think in total there's, let me real quick, there's about 25 of them total. But the reason that I like to read the first few pages of this one is it's amazing. It shows you great writing in terms of how to use description in the right way. Okay, it doesn't use too little, it doesn't use too much, but it paints a perfect picture. And as we're writing, that's what you should be doing for your audience. You should be putting together something that they can picture in their head. And there's 2 things that stand out in here, and we'll go over them at the end, and then we'll have a little bit of a writing lesson that goes with the reading here. Okay, so here we go. This is Rick Riordan's The 39 Clues. 5 minutes before she died, Grace Cahill changed her will. Her lawyer brought out the alternate version, which had been her most guarded secret for 7 years. Whether or not she would actually be crazy enough to use it, William McIntyre had never been certain. "Madam," he asked, "are you sure?" Grace gazed out the window, across the sunlit meadow of her estate. Her cat snuggled beside her as he had throughout her illness, but his presence was not enough to comfort her today. She was about to set in motion events that might cause the end of civilization. "Yes, William." Her every breath was painful. "I'm sure." William broke the seal on the brown leather folder. He was a tall, craggy man. His nose was pointed like a sundial, so it always cast a shadow over one side of his face. He had been Grace's advisor, her closest confidant for half her life. They shared many secrets over the years, but none as perilous as this. He held the document for her to review. A fit of coughing racked her body. Her cat meowed with concern. Once the coughing passed, William helped her take the pen. She scrawled her weak signature across the paper. "They're so young," William lamented. "If only their parents..." "But their parents didn't," Grace said bitterly. "And now the children must be old enough. They are our only chance. If they don't succeed, then 500 years of work have been for nothing. Everything collapses. The family, the world, all of it." William nodded grimly. He took the folder from her hands. Grace sat back, stroking her cat's silver fur. The scene outside the window made her sad. It was too gorgeous a day to die. She wanted to have one last picnic with the children. She wanted to be young and strong and travel the world again. But her eyesight was failing. Her lungs labored. She clutched her jade necklace, a good luck talisman she had found in China years ago. It had seen her through many close calls with death, many lucky misses. But the talisman couldn't help her anymore. She worked hard to prepare for this day. Still, there was so much she'd left undone, so much she had never told the children. "It will have to be enough," she whispered. And with that, Grace Cahill closed her eyes for the last time. When he was sure Grace had passed away, William McIntyre went to the window and closed the curtains. William preferred darkness. It seemed more proper for the business at hand. The door opened behind him. Grace's cat hissed and disappeared under the bed. William didn't look back. He was staring at Grace Cahill's signature on her new will, which had just become the most important document in the Cahill family's history. "Well," a brusque voice said. William turned. A man stood in the doorway, his face obscured by shadows, his suit as black as oil. "It's time," William said. "Make sure they suspect nothing." William couldn't tell for sure, but he thought the man in black smiled. "Don't worry," the man promised. "They'll never have a clue." So that was just 3 pages, but if I just go through this with you real quick, you can see what terrific description was here. I love this line where the man in the doorway is described as having a suit as black as oil. When we think of seeing a puddle of oil on the ground, we think of it in 2 ways. First of all, it's pitch black, and second of all, it has a little bit of a shimmer or a shine to it. Without having to even go into any of those details, he just said the suit is as black as oil. He paints this terrific picture of a shiny, dark suit. I also liked at the beginning where he just says very simply, Grace gazed out the window across the sunlit meadows of her estate. He paints the picture of what it's like outside that day. Okay, the sun shining over big areas of grass. Okay, she has an estate. You think of this huge area outside of what is probably a mansion. So this is just an example now of Rick Riordan hooking the reader in. And I always say it's like fishing. Okay, all you want to do is toss out your line, hook them, and then it's your job to pull them in. And you can do that with great description. And so this is a book, if you're interested in the first 3 pages, keep going with it, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye again.